New York City, or as they say, the greatest city in the world. A city full of big lights, opportunity, and inspiration at every corner. Los Angeles, the city of dreamers, beach dwellers, and influencers. And my current home. Alright guys, so I've had the privilege of living in both cities, currently living in LA. I've been able to recognize the differences between the two and want to give you a comparison to New York and LA. And before I get into my analysis, I actually want to give one of my New York friends a call to ask him on his opinion. He's from the Midwest, so I can argue that he's neutral and wants to experience both cities in his lifetime. Nick Taylor!
Mike, what's up?
How's it going over there in New York City?
Dude, not bad. It's nice over here.
Loving the new podcast, 2 a.m. Bodega Runs, very New York City themed.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Well, listen, I wanted to give you a quick call because I want to know, for a video I'm making, New York or LA? Go.
Ooh, that's a good question. Okay, I heard an interesting quote that says, New York is a place that you go to become someone new, and LA is a place to find yourself. So for me, I feel like New York is a better place for me.
That's deep. Awesome. Okay, well, I'm going to do my own analysis and figure out what might be the better city. I'll let you know if I come up with an answer. But for you, you vote for New York, at least for right now.
Without question, I will represent New York for now.
Before I convince you to come to LA, thanks for the call, and I will talk to you soon.
See you, Mike.
Bye, Nick. All right, we got one vote for New York. So first, something important to every city is how you can get around. And when it comes to transportation, New York and LA are very different. In New York, public transportation is the absolute best way to navigate the city and the most efficient. It comes so naturally to a New Yorker that you might even see celebrities on them. The pros to New York public transportation, you can get anywhere with a flight of the 275 Metro card. The cons, the crowds, delays, and the lack of personal space. We just got from Midtown to the Lower East Side in maybe 10 minutes via the F. If I came here by cab, it would have been a lot longer. But in LA, public transportation is an oversight because the city is so sprawling, it often feels like one big suburb. If you don't have a car, LA is going to be a bit trickier to navigate and going to vastly limit your experience to get around the city and explore all it has to offer. And the traffic is pretty terrible. I have been going under 20 miles per hour on the freeway over to the east side. It gets exhausting. Is there a better alternative though? I don't know. The public transportation in LA is not its strong suit either. I recently made a video where I explored the LA Metro for the day, and let me tell you, it was an interesting experience. You can check that one out for the full ride, but what I discovered is that the LA Metro is alive and well, just not as efficient and not as heavily used. So really, if you don't like driving and you really can't stand traffic, LA is going to be a hard place to live. It took me almost an hour to go 10 miles from where I live in the west side of Los Angeles to the east side. There are two key differences to New York and LA in my opinion, and that is the activities. LA is more of an outdoor city with so many scenic hikes at your fingertips, if you have a good means of transportation. I am at Elysian Park right now in East LA, which is just one of the many beautiful scenic hikes here in the city. You can see that I'm pretty high up looking at all that traffic below me, feeling like I'm on top of the city here in LA. So pretty though, and still has a charm to it. And in New York, your outdoor activities might consist of coming to one of the iconic parks here. Right now I am at Brooklyn Bridge Park and the views are great. Of course, there is the iconic Central Park, which was my favorite part of Manhattan to walk, read, and pretend like I'm in the movie Enchanted. Downtown, there is quirky Washington Square Park, great for people watching, and Domino Park in Brooklyn for the best sunset spot. And I can't forget about my favorite park in NYC that I would skate around all day, Prospect Park in Brooklyn, the less touristy version of Central Park. Also, what's great about New York, even more future iconic parks are being built like Little Island. I am so happy to be here because this is New York City's newest public park, the newest one since the High Line many years ago, and I've had FOMO seeing people come here as I've been in LA. All right, and we got New Jersey right behind us. What are your thoughts on New Jersey?
Ooh, Jersey.
Classic New Yorker. You simply can't go wrong with the parks in New York, something that LA kind of lacks. I also loved going for a jog along the East and Hudson Rivers because the views and vibe are unmatched. Especially during the summertime, the Seaport is a beautiful spot directly right across me right now in the financial district. However, I personally prefer the amount of things to do in Los Angeles, where I can skate along the beaches in the South Bay in the everyday beautiful weather, try new things such as surfing, watch the sunset at Manhattan Beach, hike Runyon Canyon, Griffith Park, Elysian Park, and always finding new, amazing scenic trails. While it's definitely a little easier to hike in Los Angeles, you still can hike in New York if you travel a little bit further. 50 miles north is Bear Mountain State Park, one of my favorite hikes here in the Northeast. We're here! She's so excited for Bear Mountain steps. Beautiful fall day here in upstate New York. You know you're doing a Northeast hike and there's actual steps. I guess I was going a little bit too fast for my dad because he told me to go ahead of him so he can go his own pace. I think this is a really easy hike. I guess that's because I live in LA. Beautiful view of the Hudson Highlands and even New York City from 50 miles away. He made it!
I made it.
Hi, Bear. Bear, you're at Bear Mountain. But since New York is a weather-dependent city, a lot of people do rely on indoor activities such as museums and bars. Which brings us to the weather, and to no one's surprise, Los Angeles is a city where the sun is always shining, except for May and June when you get that really bad June gloom. But besides that, you can pretty much come to the beach any day of the year and be comfortable. And the beaches here are beautiful. In New York, you get all four seasons and pretty extreme in my opinion. Cold, snowy winters and hot, humid summers, you can expect a full wardrobe of seasonal outfits topped with seasonal depression. I am someone who needs the sun in my life pretty much every day, so it's great that I can come to the beach in January, February, or July. But in New York, in the summer and winter, you can find me inside, avoiding the humidity and the freezing cold. Something you can't go wrong with in either city is the food. Whereas New York takes the cake for its unreal Italian food, it's a good thing New Yorkers get as much walking in their day as they do. Here in LA, I can't help but crave the pizza that I totally took for granted. LA thrives with authentic Mexican cuisines, even the vegan Mexican scene for maybe my favorite restaurant in LA, Gracias Madre. Speaking of plant-based, LA does the best in the health scene as the city that put avocado toast on the map. Plus, many new age options such as Zen bowls. Even the beverages are something you'd automatically associate with Los Angeles, like honey lavender oat milk lattes. But one thing most crazy to me is the lack of appreciation in LA for my favorite coffee, Dunkin' Donuts. Since you don't need a car in New York, your transportation costs will revolve around your monthly Metro card of currently $127. That's pretty much the cost of my monthly car insurance in Los Angeles, with the added gas prices of about $4 to $5 a gallon right now. I probably spend $30 to $40 a week just on gas alone, on top of my insurance and car payments. Plus, the cost of buying a car where I have a monthly payment over $200, my transportation costs in LA are significantly higher than New York, estimated at around $500 a month. However, my rent is significantly cheaper than it was in New York, as I currently share a renovated townhouse with roommates, so it's all balancing out. Rent costs in LA are similar or probably slightly cheaper than New York, and you get a much better bang for your buck. Washer and dryer, easier to find in New York. Dishwasher, common. Even a garbage disposal that back in New York, we probably couldn't even tell you what it is. Rent in New York City is out of control, and I was consistently paying upwards of $1,500 to live with a roommate in very rundown pre-war buildings. Between apartment broker fees and rent costs, New York City was recently rated the most expensive city in the US, overthrowing San Francisco. It's no mistake that people generally say the New York City vibe is unmatched, as it's a city where everyone really feels like one. Between the annoying MTA commutes, the rising cost of living, and somewhat treacherous weather, New Yorkers have an unspoken bond and a very outspoken pride that make living here worth it for many. Los Angeles, on the other hand, is a little less respected than its rival, but from my perspective, it's a very misunderstood city. While the traffic and cost of living might be a pain for some, the weather and natural beauty really does make LA a beautiful place to live. And the best part about living in Los Angeles is all of the beautiful day trips you can take around the city. From OC to Santa Barbara to Palm Springs to Ojai, there are so many beautiful spots just outside LA. So say what you want about LA, but there's a reason why the traffic and cost of living are so bad. Overall, you can't go wrong with either city as long as it fits you and you find your love for it. For me, I think my friend Nick was right. New York City is where you go to be someone new. It's where I learned my self-confidence, found my lifelong friends, and became ambitious. LA is where you go to find yourself. And it's been a place where I've taken what I've learned from New York and going even deeper to find my inner purpose, peace, and connection to the world. New York, thank you. LA, welcome to my world. And finally, let me know in the comments below, New York or LA. There's only two right answers.